What's up, Parker? It's April the 7th. I'm again sick, so yeah. So, to comment on your video for yesterday, I loved it, and it got me thinking about what I identify as ethnicity-wise. So, I mean, very obviously, I identify as white. I'm very obviously white, and no one's ever mistaken me for anything else except for one guy in my first semester of college who asked me if I was mixed. Which, that does make sense because I do go to an HBCU, so I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. And so on my dad's side, I'm mostly Slavic. But my last name, which I won't be saying on the internet because I'd prefer not to since it's a pretty uncommon name, is German. And so that leads me to believe that I have German somewhere on my dad's side. But on my mom's side, for a long time, we didn't know her background. And this is mostly because my mother was adopted as a young child, so we just didn't know. But then eventually, we got, my mother's sister went searching and found all sorts of records, dating back to basically the 1800s. So to go from having no idea to knowing that she found out that she was German, and then have the names and pictures of people all the way back to the 1800s. Like, we have group shots of, like, 3 or 4 generations on my mother's side, and it's just mind-blowing. We also gained pictures of my young mother in the orphanage, which was adorable. And then that got me to thinking even more about my past. You made me go on a trip down memory lane, Parker, and thanks. And so I remembered a high school project I had to do, which I despised at the time, called the baby book. There's baby Denny. I still have a baby face, so. And so, like, this baby book, the purpose of it was just, to chronicle your childhood. And I hate these sorts of projects because, like, I can write reports all day long, but, like, ask me to make a baby book and it's gonna be 90% stickers and, like, no words. And so, I'm gonna, whoops. That was my great-grandparents and that was my great-great-grandparents and my great-great-great-grandparents on my mother's side. I also believe they were on her father's side, on the male side of the family. And then we also have, great-grandparents. So by my estimation, I'm probably like 3/4 German about. So I mean, obviously my ethnicity is German. But I've never been to Germany. I've never been out of the country. My father travels a lot for his job, but he was born in America. My mother was born in Germany, but she came to America at a very young age. I consider myself an American pretty much. And while I agree with you that we all really do need to consider ourselves American, especially people who are like 2nd or 3rd generation immigrants, it's also, we definitely do need to keep the idea that we did come from a certain place, like you said, Italy, and like my family is mostly German, pretty much German. It's just all German. And I think that the most apparent part, especially for like people like you and I, like I speak not a lick of German, and like I know almost nothing about German culture not because I wasn't interested, just because it's not really my family's culture. We are very Americanized, and there's nothing really wrong with that. That's where we live. We didn't necessarily decide to live, but someone at some point did. And I do love America for all of its pitfalls. It's a pretty good country when you get down to it. I mean, other countries, like, it's a lot harder to be LGBTQ+. It's a lot harder for a woman to work. It's a lot harder for there's a lot more racism rampant in so many other places in the world. Like, America's a pretty good place for as much as I complain about it. And I'm sorry, but I do complain about America a lot. I think there's a lot of ways that this system needs to be updated and fixed. If I still have time in this video, I don't know if I do. Black hair! This was an experience, but I'm back to being a brunette, so we'll see how it goes. So I will see you tomorrow, Parker. DFTBA.